Hello, everybody. This is Alia, the love coach, and we are meeting for another love circle. And today we are talking about healing self-criticism. Now, this is something that is hidden inside each and every single one of us. For some of us, that critical voice is so big that you can see it. For some of us, it's so hidden that we cannot see it, and we feel like we're very compassionate towards ourselves. The more I understood about self-criticism and how hidden it could be, I never assumed that I am over it. I always keep my mind open. I am always looking where, when, how I might be criticizing myself. So that is the foundation we're going to start with, that every single one of you who are listening to it could be criticizing yourself. So in this conversation, I want to show you what it does to you when we criticize ourselves, what it really does to you. And once you understand that, with that understanding, we'll be more willing to change our behavior. It's just another behavior, and then I'll be sharing with you how you can change it. So first, let's dig in. I want to talk about that there are two different topics here. One is you criticizing yourself, and the second is you becoming criticism proof. I am not going to be talking about how to become criticism proof. When someone criticizes you, not take it to your heart, not get impacted by it, not hold yourself back just because you don't want to be rejected. That is a completely different topic. Right now, we are talking about our internal environment, how I interact with myself, what I am saying to myself, how I regulate myself. So that is what we'll be focusing on. And now that we are talking about regulation, guilt, self-criticism, these are all different ways that we try to control ourselves. Now, these are the ways we are taught when we are little, that this is how you can control yourself. This is how you can manipulate yourself. It's an unhealthy way of connecting with self. But because it's used so much, our mom is doing it, our dad is doing it, then they are doing it to us, that we feel like that's the way to be. But that is not the way to be, because it is very damaging to our human psychology, physiology, and our energy body. And I'll be sharing all those different aspects with you. So what self-criticism is, when you feel like you have the right to tear yourself apart. You would say, why did you do this? Why couldn't you do this? Look at you, you're saying this and then doing this. That's when you're pretty much internally yelling at yourself, scolding yourself. And sometimes we tie it into like tough love. Sometimes we tie it into that negative psychology, that if I'll push myself so hard, maybe I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. Those are all the unhealthy ways to connect with yourself. Even the whole tough love part thing, it's not really a healthy thing to do. We can be compassionate, kind, and loving, and still at the same time understand ourselves, make ourselves hear us, make someone else hear us. We don't have to attack a person to get their attention. So that is basically what we are trying to do when we go into self-criticism. When we are involved in self-criticism, our self-esteem goes down because your unconscious mind cannot tell the difference. It's you attacking yourself or someone else is attacking you. So if you're telling yourself in your mind, you're stupid all the time, your self-esteem is going to go low. You are going to struggle with self-image, because your unconscious mind, again, cannot tell the difference if someone else is saying it to you or you are saying it to yourself. It's just hear it, absorb it, and believes it, especially when it's said with specific feelings, emotions, and when it's said so many times. So repetition and how strongly it's said is what opens the unconscious mind, and it receives it, it accepts it, because it's our feeling mind. So whenever any feeling is involved, it's open to suggestions. and then we are suggesting it how bad we are, it's going to believe that. That's why people who struggle with self-criticism, they keep struggling with self-criticism. It doesn't get any better. It just doesn't go away. No matter how successful you are, maybe you started at a managerial level. Now you are at an executive level, like upper management, higher executive, close to CEO, CFO. Maybe you're at that level. That conversation within you is not going to go away because it's inside of you. We all can become successful, highly successful, no matter what area of our life we want that success in, or what we define as success to be, without criticizing ourselves. That is what this whole conversation is about, to convince you you can stop criticizing yourself and you can still build a beautiful life for yourself. So now the second aspect of self-criticism is when we are programming ourselves. So it's the behavior is gonna stay there forever unless you make a different decision. But also it changes your physiology, it changes your body's chemistry, because those words, they are harmful. They are affecting maybe people who do have a higher critical voice. They have migraines. Migraine is a big sign, and then you might have GI tract issues. Those are the two big signs, like, maybe something is going in your intestine, maybe something is going in your stomach, maybe something is going on in your gallbladder. All the different parts that are involved with the GI tract system, they get impacted. Anything that has to do with your head does get impacted. And energetically, we are not just impacting the energy of the body, because the solar plexus chakra, that is getting weaker and weaker with the self-attack. But when we are using our words, our thoughts, and we are attacking ourselves, and every thought is energy, depending on the kind of thought it is, it literally has a shape. I don't have the book with me right now. It's called Thought Points. That is the book name. And if you buy that book, you can see the picture in it, how they are pictured. So when you're criticizing yourself, literally you're putting a knife on your energy body. So you're making holes in it. And what that does, that just makes you weaker. Energetically, it makes us weaker over time. That invites more negative thoughts, that invites more physical illnesses. And if that is how it continues, there is a chance of having autoimmune disorders. Now, any autoimmune disorder, the root energy is a self-attack. When you are attacking yourself in your thoughts, when you're attacking yourself in your words, your body starts to attack itself. It cannot tell the difference if this is yours or if it's a germ that has invaded. And that is what autoimmune disorder is. So hopefully I have convinced you by sharing with you all the different ways it impacts you, how to really be willing to let it go. Now let's get into, okay, if it does impact your physical life, your emotional life, and your energetical life aspect of your being so much, why we are so attached to it, why it is so hard to let it go. Now that is where the programming comes between 0 to 7, because it becomes your way to connect with yourself. People who criticize themselves, in that moment, that it feels very intimate. It's emotional intimacy that they experience with themselves. They will literally sit there and they're tear themselves apart. Sometimes they would openly talk about how bad they are and how this, and they would laugh with it. In that moment, that person is connecting with themselves. And they have been connecting with themselves that way for such a long time. When mom criticized them, what's wrong with you? They went in their room, they cried, and they said, what's wrong with you? In that moment, that critical voice was the only thing that was with them. So they became friends, even though it's an unhealthy friend, but it became friend. So that connection is not just part of our energy body, part of the our thinking process, but it physically changes our brain. So it's not easy to just drop criticism. You can't just say, hey, just stop criticizing yourself, and the person will be like, okay, I'll do it. And then tomorrow they're so loving and compassionate and kind to themselves. That's not how it works, because it's so much deeper. The roots are literally dug into our physical nervous system that it's not easy to take out. Few things that would be involved in healing that. One would be self-forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves for things we have done in the past that we hold that criticism on top of our head. It could be like, why did I not speak for myself when I should have? It could be just as small as that, which is not very small. Or it could be like, somebody truly, truly hurted you and you did nothing. Like the hurt was so big that you did nothing. So now you're sitting there and criticizing yourself why you never stand up for yourself. It could be various degree. Well, once you start understanding that the person you were in that moment didn't know any better. Right now, maybe you're aware that, oh, you criticize yourself and you're ready to change it. But way back in the day, you didn't even know you're criticizing yourself. You didn't even know that you don't have the skill set to stand up for yourself. Now that you're aware that, oh, I had the choice to stand up for myself. As you start to heal those parts, and I have done a full training on one of the Love Circle about self-forgiveness. You can look into that. You can watch that if you need help. Always send me a message. I can help you find it. I can share the link with you. Go through that. Go through the forgiveness process. And that's when you start coming to the realization that it's not that there's something wrong with me. I have just lived as different versions of me. And now I want to be the version of me that actually is compassionate towards me, that does not criticize me. So you will go through that shift, through that process when you will forgive yourself. And in that, you're literally going to change the neurons in your brain. You're going to create new neural pathways, new ways to connect with yourself. So it is going to become so much easier to stop criticizing yourself. As you look back, how you have been with yourself, and the more you become okay with it and come in this moment, it's so much easier to start from here onward. So right now you can look at your life and you can look at all that is going on in your physical body, in your emotions, in your life. First, you have to really make a decision. I do want to live with myself in a different way. I don't want to keep criticizing myself anymore. And that is given if you're aware of that you criticize yourself. So if that understanding doesn't happen and you're just pushing yourself to stop criticizing yourself, again, that's not going to work. Because we need to get all parts of us on the same page before we move forward. And then the second aspect is realize that you do have a choice to stop criticizing yourself. You really do. I have that choice. You have that choice. Yeah, maybe you don't know how to do it, but the choice is already there. It's available to you. So we talked a little bit about that. It's a way that you connect with yourself. And it's also because, you're maybe upset on yourself. So forgiving yourself, but let's focus on connecting with yourself. How do you want to focus on connecting with yourself this moment onward, now that you have made the decision from an understanding, I don't want to keep hurting myself, I can make a different choice. Start with connecting with yourself by taking at least 5 minutes every single day. If you already don't have that practice, at least take 5 minutes every single day where you sit with yourself without any device. I'm not talking about meditation, and you just feel yourself. It's not that you're trying to find what you're thinking, you're going to push away your thoughts. You're literally just going to sit like this with yourself and just feel yourself. Who are you? How are you? How you feel? It's just like when you meet a complete stranger. Let's say you went to new school, you went to new neighborhood, you went to new workplace, and you just met this person and you like, I want to be friends with them. First, you just sit with them and you ask them, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You start to investigate. So you can find a common ground with them. Same way, you have to find those parts of you that lives inside of you. We all know superficially who we are. You would say, I'm a lazy person, I'm a punctual person, I love this, I love that. That's all outer shell. That is our conditioned self. We want to get to know who we truly are within ourselves when no one is watching, when no one is there, when it's just you and you with yourself. So sitting with yourself 5 minutes every day, if you can do it more, that's even better. That is a new way of connecting with yourself, where you're just getting used to holding space for yourself. You're not demanding anything, you're not criticizing, you're not praising, you're just being with yourself. Start there, and pretty soon you're going to get so used to just connecting with yourself, just being there with yourself, that you will start increasing the time. You will start craving being with yourself. When you get to that level, that is when you're not going to feel like you need to criticize yourself in order to connect with yourself. The reason you're criticizing yourself to experience connection and emotional intimacy with yourself, because that's all you know. That's all you have known. The tough love part, that's all you have known, how to connect with yourself. If that is the only experience you have had, how are you going to practice self-compassion? So first, we have to experience new things. We have to experience different things with ourselves. So just sit with yourself. If you want to go a step further, start dating yourself. Take yourself on a coffee date. Go to a cafe all by yourself. Take a book if you like, or if not, just sit there, sip your coffee, sip your tea, and just be with yourself. It feels very uncomfortable, especially if you have never done it before. It feels very, very uncomfortable. But if you can stay in that discomfort, you're taking down those walls that you have created to protect yourself from truly feeling intimacy and connection. And when we are talking about intimacy, we're not talking about sexual activity. We are talking about that deep feeling of connection. It's emotional intimacy. It's presence, where you actually feel another person is present with you. That is what fulfills human. It fills us up energetically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, but you can give it to yourself. You don't have to seek it outward. You can do that for yourself. So start dating yourself. You can take yourself on a lunch date, on a dinner date, and really make a whole ritual out of it. Get dressed, put your best dress on, put the best makeup on if you're into makeup, make your hair, go out, be with yourself, wear the best shoes as well, go to the best, most favorite restaurant. When you will start connecting with yourself on such a deeper level, you're shifting everything within you. You're shifting your energy, you're shifting the way the neurons are set up in your brain. Your body's gonna feel more energized, and you would realize you're not gonna talk badly to a person you treat so well. We talk badly to people, we don't know them. We don't know who they truly are. We are in a way disconnected from them. We don't even realize how much we are hurting them by saying these things. But when we feel connected with them, when we know, oh, this is who this person is, we don't attack them. We find a different way of communicating with them. that is what's going to start happening. You're going to start connecting with yourself in such a beautiful way that you won't feel that self-attacking is necessary anymore. So this is, we are changing our inner, our physical, our energetical by action. Because when you act on something, when you take an action, that is a force of nature. It's energy that can shift so much. That's why that sentence exists, just do it. Because what action can change within you, your conversation, understanding an idea, just sitting there pondering over it is not gonna do. So we are introducing new actions in your life so you learn another way of being with yourself. Now, the next one, the last one that I am going to suggest is working with this framework that I'm going to talk to myself as if I would talk to a 5-year-old. Now, this aspect comes from inner child work. When you start connecting with that 5-year-old that is within you, the kid who was criticized, and the kid who thought that that is how I can connect with myself or other people, when you will start talking to yourself as if you're a 5-year-old child, you will find it very hard to criticize that kid. What I would highly suggest is have a picture of your 5-year-old self. If you cannot find 5, take 6, 7, take 2, 3, whatever, keep that picture with you. Look at that picture very often and just recognize every time when I tell myself I'm stupid, I am telling that to this child. How that child would get impacted. That is where you can bring in your nurturing nature, the parenting nature, and you can become more responsible using that energy within you. So you don't have to do anything else. You just have to tap into the nurturer within you and start nurturing yourself as a mother, as a parent. If a guy is listening it to, then start nurturing yourself as a father, the father that you truly, truly wanted. Especially given if your parents were not like, you know, the most emotionally healthy parents and they did not give to you what you really have been seeking all along. Now is the time. You can give yourself that kind of deep nurturing all by yourself. That little 5-year-old child is always within you. Even if you're 70, that child is still within you. You start nurturing that child, you're going to feel so energized, you can demand so much from yourself. But if you're criticizing yourself, you're not gonna have energy. You're gonna feel tired all the time, and you won't be able to demand too much from yourself without feeling exhausted and tired. Now, right now, burnout has been considered a diagnosis. And now that it's a diagnosis, more and more people are getting that diagnosis. But if you can get into the head of any person who's burnt out, they are so critical of themselves. Sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm a perfectionist. What is a perfectionist? Deep down is a person who's so critical of themselves. And that is, again, a learned behavior. Somebody taught it to you. No child is born with self-criticism. No child comes out of a mom's womb saying, by the way, I am so dirty. Look at me. I am full of this ooey gooey stuff and I am filthy. No one criticizes themselves. No child criticizes themselves. It's a learned behavior that you have the ability to unlearn. And once you unlearn it, the benefits that you get from it are going to outweigh whatever benefits you think you're getting right now by being self-critical and using that tough love scenario in your life. The difference is going to be huge. You cannot experience that difference till you actually do the work. I can tell you personally, I come from a very negative mindset, very self-critical mindset. If I will have a conversation with somebody for a month, I'll be thinking about, I should have said this that way. Like that conversation would never leave my mind. Had all kind of diseases going on with no explanation. Ever since I was little, like, maybe 5, 6, 7, my mom was always taking me to the doctors and they never knew what's wrong with me. Everything shifted. Everything shifted once I learned what I was doing in my head. I am so energized all the time. I don't take any caffeine and I can go till midnight without taking any caffeine. And I feel very light, feel very happy. I don't get that sick. It's very rare that I do get sick. And mostly it's when I'm doing release work, when I get very, very deep, my body do get sick so I can get rest, so I can release all that. I just had an episode of yesterday, but I am aware of what's going on. Those general unexplained sickness, they are gone. It's not that I took any medication. I just changed the way I connect with myself now. It's that powerful. So let's just recap. The way that you can heal this self-criticism within yourself, one is recognizing the damage it's doing, that you have a choice and make a decision. Because if you don't go through that thought process, you're not going to have a why. If you don't have a why, you're just going to keep spinning. You're going to come a roadblock. It's going to be too hard. You'll be like, you know what? It's not for me. I'll just go to my old way of being. So that thought process is very important. Second, learning a different way to connect with yourself. That could be as little as spending 5 minutes with yourself every day, all the way till dating yourself. It could be even that. And the third is always talking to yourself as if you are talking to a 5-year-old child. Try it, practice it. And I can assure you, you're going to see such a huge difference that you're going to come back and say, Alia, I have completely shifted. My energy is high. I don't get that sick because I have shifted the way I talk to myself. So my friends, that's all we have for today about self-criticism, healing self-criticism. If this is the work you're ready to do, reach out to me. I will be honored, happy, glad, blessed to take you through that journey where you get to meet with your true self and you never feel you need to tear yourself down to be successful. That is all for today, and I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you all next Thursday. Love you. Bye.